الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا اللهم بما علمتنا وزدنا اللهم علما وعملا إنك ولي ذلك والقادر عليه. أما بعد, then it pleases me greatly to be with my brothers and sisters who are watching, who are listening, that the brothers from Sunnah Saga are having this event and this conference on this important topic, and it pleases me to join them, and that they would honor me with my presence amongst my beloved brothers and the mashayikh, ulama, who have given very beneficial talks for us. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from those who hear the speech and follow the best of it. Allahumma ja'alna min alladhina yastami'una al-qawla fayattabi'una ahsana. So the topic that was given to me today is about how to attain the unity, the unity, and this is the true unity. And this is a very important topic. And I would say, first of all, that as the mashayikh and my beloved brothers have said earlier, and have, I'm sure, talked about this matter, is that the unity is obligatory. The unity of the Muslims is from the foundations of our religion. To be unified upon the truth. To be unified upon the truth. And this is as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Allah said, hold fast to the rope of Allah, meaning the religion of Allah, meaning the Quran, the Jama'ah. Hold fast, all of you together, to the truth, to Islam, to the Quran, and do not be divided. And so this is an obligation, an order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be unified in the hearts upon the object of unity, the source of unity, which is the Quran, which is Islam. It's not just unity for no reason. It's unity upon the truth and only for the truth. This is the only true unity. This is the only unity which brings the hearts together. Otherwise, it's not important for the bodies to be together while the hearts are divided. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the evildoers, تَحْسَبُهُمْ جَمِيعًا وَقُلُوبُهُمْ شَتَّى. You think they're united, but their hearts are divided. This is not unity. This is just show and pomp and glamour. This is not the point. The point is the hearts be together. And the hearts can only become together if they all believe the same. Okay? It's only when the hearts are in the same belief and the same ideology, the same foundations of belief, the same tawheed, the same iman, the same manhaj, the same methodology they follow, then and only then will the hearts become united. And this is the origin of Islam. The origin of Islam is unity. We find the Sahaba unified. Allah said, وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ إِذْ كُنْتُمْ أَعْدَاءً فَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِكُمْ. And remember the blessing of Allah upon you, that you used to be enemies. فَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِكُمْ فَأَصْبَحْتُمْ بِنِعْمَتِهِ إِخْوَانًا. And Allah brought your hearts together, and you became, by the blessing of Allah, brothers. This is brotherhood of the hearts upon the same truth. And so this is the unity that the Sahaba had with the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that Allah brought their hearts together after they were warring tribes and at each other's necks for decades and decades and generations and generations. But from the great sign of the Islam, of the truthfulness and the blessing of this beautiful religion, is that it brought peace amongst these warring tribes. This is something they could not do left to themselves. It was impossible for themselves, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He brought them together. This is indeed a great blessing, a great sign of the truthfulness of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he came with the truth. This was impossible for them to do, only by Allah's blessing upon them. And so they were united. Why? The point is, they were united because they were upon the same belief and the same methodology. This is the only thing that can bring the unity. This is the only thing. No, you can, of course, you can give money. We, for example, can give money to someone, okay, and bring them closer to Islam. This is legislated. But if the heart is not then cultivated and nurtured upon the belief, as soon as the money ends, okay, he may not stick around. Okay, so yes, bring someone close, but to then there must be nurturing of the hearts upon the belief, upon the brotherhood of this common belief system. And then the heart becomes strong and the heart becomes close, and then that bond cannot be broken. After that, you could, take all his money away. As the Sahaba, they said, we entered into Islam for some meager coins. But now, if after the Islam grew in them, they said, now, after we learned the Islam, you could give us treasures of gold and silver and we would never leave this Islam. Because the truth, when it comes into the heart of the individual, nothing can shake him. Nothing can shake him. Okay? This is the truth that the Sahaba were upon. Okay? And so that is the unity. Now, what comes after that of divisions, okay, these divisions can happen, or not division, you say disagreement. Okay, there can be, along with the unity of the brotherhood, there can be difference of opinions arising, because we're human beings. From our nature is to not agree all the time. There will be situations, very simple example, in our household. In our household, we can differ. The husband can differ with the wife, the father can differ with the son, and so on. But these differences are to be returned and to be resolved. Okay, these are fleeting differences. These are meant to be a test in the of the brotherhood, and once the person returns the matter back to Allah and His Messenger as He's ordered, then these differences can be resolved very easily. But with the soundness of heart, with the wanting the resolution. And that's we'll come to, inshallah. That's very important. Now, these differences, as I said, these are differences not in the matters of aqidah, not in the matters of belief system and methodology. There are certain foundations, okay, by which there's no room for differing. When I say differing between husband and wife and so on, and children and that, these are the differences that are not in the foundations of the religion. Okay? These differences can arise. We are human beings. We can, not everyone knows everything. Some of us, we don't understand until we encounter someone who knows more than us and we learn from them, and so on, vice versa. Also, we can forget. We may know something today, but we can forget it tomorrow. And so we'll make a mistake. All of us are prone to do that. So in this case, Allah said, وَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ إِن كُنتُمْ تُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. In these cases of differences which arise in our day-to-day life, Allah said, and if you differ in anything, return it back to Allah and His Messenger. Return it back to Allah. How? By returning back to His book, the Quran. Because the Quran, it has the solution to what ails us, that which ails our bodies and that which ails our hearts. From that is the differing with my brother, with my sister. فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ, and return it to the Messenger. How do we return to the Messenger? We return it back to His Sunnah. Return it back to the authentic Sunnah, that comes to us with an authentic chain of narration. not fabrications, not lies and stories. No, there's authentic sunnah based upon the qawaid of al-hadith, the scholars, as the blessing of Allah that He gave us a chain of narration by which we can arrive and check the narration back to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and by which we certify that this is a true hadith. The scholars and Allah has qayyad Allah rijalan. Allah has produced and has prepared men for this job, and this is something which is unheard of in the history of the world. But Allah put this beautiful system for us by which we can check the narration with whether it's authentic or is weak by the work of the scholars and their efforts. So by this we mean that yes, return farudduhu ilallahi war rasul. If there's a difference of opinion you have with your brother, with your sister, return it back to Allah. Go back to the Quran. Go back to the Sunnah. There you'll find the solution. There you'll find the solution. If the hearts are open and looking for the truth, each the other, there's the difference will just dissolve away sooner or later, as long as there's sincerity in that effort and desire to bring about resolution. That's why Allah said, "In kuntum tu'minuna billahi wal yawmil akhir," meaning return it back to Allah and the Messenger if you believe in Allah in the last day, because it means that it's only the believers who would return their disputes back to Allah and the Messenger. So by this I mean this is the solution. This is the solution to any differing that we may encounter in our day-to-day affairs. So otherwise, the difference of opinion, as I said, is not something desirable in the least. It's something which we make efforts to resolve it. And I'll mention something, inshallah, also that to sort of support that is the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, "Taraktu fikum in tamassaktum bihi lan tadillu ba'di abada. Kitabullahi wa sunnati." The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "I have left with you two things. If you hold fast to them, you will never go astray after me. The Book of Allah and my Sunnah. The Book of Allah and my Sunnah." So when we hold fast to these two, there, as we said, is the resolution for our difficulties. Naam. So, I mentioned the differences when we talk about them. We're talking about differences in any matter. But differences that happen between us, brothers and sisters, can usually differences not in the foundation of the religion. Okay? Differences in the foundation of the religion, there's no room for difference in that, because those things are agreed upon. For example, things like Sheikh Ahmed Bazmul mentioned, the matter of revolting against the Muslim ruler. This is a matter which is agreed upon from the core foundations of this religion. So when a person insists that he wants to take upon himself this matter and call to revolution and demonstrations and the like, then there's no room for difference of opinion in this matter. This is not something that we can say, okay, we can agree to disagree. We can just agree to disagree. No, we cannot agree to disagree on this, because this is going against the foundation of the religion. You cannot have light and darkness together. Once the light comes, the darkness must go. Once the darkness comes, the light is affected and you cannot see clearly anymore. We want light. We want clarity. We cannot have opposites. Okay? If we want to have the light, then the darkness must be removed. Okay? These are opposites that cannot coexist. So this is a matter we must resolve. Okay? And this is, in fact, bringing disunity. These matters that go against the foundation of the religion, that are innovated matters, be it the matter of revolting against the rulers, or be it regarding the Sahaba, those who come to curse the Sahaba and disparage the Sahaba, okay, like the Rafida Shia, okay, these two groups are examples, the Rafida and the Khawarij, those who call to revolt. They're the ones who are bringing the disunity, and this is causes a great yani the source of division in the ummah, okay, because the original matter, as you said, the Sahaba were united. They didn't have any innovations. They didn't have any beliefs like this, cursing the Sahaba, cursing themselves, causing revolt against the ruler. They didn't have, these are foreign. These came about after the Sahaba. So you can think of it like the unity is that you hold fast to the original affair, the original matter. As we said, فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ. As long as we return back to Allah and the Messenger, the Quran and the Sunnah, according to the understanding of the Sahaba, we will achieve unity. This is the ingredient and the main way to achieve the true unity. Go back to the original affair, because the original affair was what? Was one. It was one. It was the true Islam. And our Lord is one. وَأَعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا. Our Lord is one. Allah said, وَإِنَّ أُمَّتَكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً وَأَنَا رَبُّكُمْ فَاعْبُدُونَ. Allah said, your ummah is one ummah. We are one ummah. And I am your Lord, so worship me. So as we have one Lord, who is Allah, and we have one messenger, who is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and as we have one religion, which is Kitab Sunnah, likewise we are one ummah. This is the ummah, because our source is one. But as long as you're going to have other sources of your information or other returns and other groups and parties, then this is the division. So these Khawarij and these Rafida and their likes, they're the ones who brought the division. They're the ones who are splitting off from the truth. Okay? And anyone who shares with them in a deviant ideology or deviant thinking. So you can think of the true Islam as a white wall. And then other people, they come and they start to put some black spots on it, black or mud on it. Rafida, Shia, Khawarij, Qadariya, Jahmiya, these groups that go against the way of the original belief of the Sahaba. So they're the ones who are bringing the confusion. Okay? But all the time there's going to be a white spot remaining. Okay, all the time, because the Prophet ﷺ said, لا تزال طائفة من أمتي على الحق ظاهرين لا يضرهم من خذلهم ولا خالفهم إلى أن يأتي أمر الله كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. That there will never cease to be a group of my ummah upon the truth, victorious, meaning given help by Allah, mansurun. Okay, they will not be harmed by those who go against them, whether those who betray them or those who openly attack them, حتى يأتي أمر الله, until the order of Allah comes, or close to the day of judgment. So here, this white spot will always be there. This is what the original way of the Sahaba. So you consider a white spot on the wall, and there's mud all around. All this mud all around, this is the source of the division. Okay, so we have to look through and wade through this and go and find that white spot. Find that white spot and hold to it. Okay, and as long as anyone who holds fast to that white spot, they'll be unified with us, because our source is one, because our foundation is one, our belief is one. It could be on the far corners of the earth, he could be in the far east, and I'm in the far west, but our hearts are one. It's not about bodies. This is the only thing that will bring unity, that we all return to that original affair. And this, of course, requires from us something of effort, because sometimes it's not easy when we hold a different opinion or have a misunderstanding in a matter to admit that I'm wrong, or to admit that I was short in my understanding, and I have to learn this or learn that, and I have to change this belief I have. This requires effort from a person. and requires sincerity. So a lot of times the obstacle from this obvious solution and this clear solution which worked for the Sahaba and worked for the Salaf al-Salih, although they may have had differences, as you said, but in the end, their hearts were united. Their differences were differences of ijtihad, their understanding of one narration or the other, or their thinking of how to resolve this solution. Even sometimes they fought. But if you ask them, this group, about those in the other group, they said, they're our brothers. We love them for Allah. The Sahaba, when they fought, they did not hate one another. They did not say, you cannot take the narration of that one because he is on the opposite opinion. No, if he said, the Prophet ﷺ said something, I accept his narration because he's my brother. He's my brother. The Sahaba were, although they differed in understanding, they were still brothers, and they regarded their hearts as one. One ummatukum, ummatun wahida. They were ummatun wahida. So this ijtihad, but you see, eventually, because they had the right mindset and the right heart, they became back together. And there was the year of peace, okay? That a sulh, the peace came between them, and they returned to the brotherhood. So this is what awaits us in the end of time, towards the later days. As Imam Malik said, لا يصلح آخر هذه الأمة إلا ما أصلح أولها. Imam Malik said, the last of this ummah cannot be rectified except with the very same thing which rectified the first part of this ummah, which was returning matters back to the Quran and the Sunnah. So this is what we have to do. So this, as we said, sometimes the shaitan can come in the way now. Sometimes the shaitan will come and say, no, how can you say you're wrong? How can you admit that this person who's your enemy, who you've been arguing with, and he's saying things about you, and he is made you look bad in front of the people? How can you say that he's right and you're wrong? This is not acceptable. No, you have to have dignity. You have to have respectability in this. So shaitan comes with these thoughts and these distractions. So a person has to block out this noise. This is coming from the shaitan, because if he is truly a believer, then in any matter, قال الله وإن تنازعتم في شيء فردوه إلى الله والرسول. If you're a believer, return that difference of opinion back to Allah and the Messenger. So in this case, because I'm a human being, yeah, I may be wrong. A person has to admit, I may be wrong if I differ with with another person in something. So I have to go back and see, and look into the matter and see what is his evidence and what is my evidence, and which one lines up with the Quran and the Sunnah. And then the one who is right, then he is right, not because of his personality or his name or his upbringing or whatever, his color. It's just because that he agreed with the truth. So I'm going to now leave my wrong opinion, and I'm going to follow that right opinion, not because my adversary said it, but because it's the truth. وَالْحَقُّ ضَالَّةُ الْمُؤْمِنِ. The Salaf, they used to say the truth is the lost property of the mu'min. يَأْخُذُهُ أَيْنَمَا وَجَدْ. No matter where he finds the truth, that's his property. He clings to it, even if it's with his enemy, even if it's with his adversary, even if it's with the one that he hates. He takes the truth no matter who brings it. And this is why we'll mention, inshallah, the statement of Allah Azza wa Jal, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين لله شهداء بالقسط ولا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم على ألا تعدلوا اعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. This also helps us to resolve the difference with our brothers or our sisters. Allah said, "O you who believe, be قوامين لله, be upright for Allah, شهداء بالقسط, witnesses for the justice. ولا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم على ألا تعدلوا, and do not allow your hatred for people to cause you to be unjust. To be unjust. اعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى. Be just, that is closer to taqwa. واتقوا and fear Allah, and have piety of Allah by doing the obligations and staying away from the prohibitions. Indeed, Allah is well aware of what you do. So Imam Sa'di rahimahullah said in the tafsir of this ayah, وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ أي لا يحملنكم بغض قوم على ألا تعدلوا. Do not cause your hatred of a people to cause you to be unjust. نعم كما يفعله من لا عدل عنده ولا قسط. Like the one who would do who has no justice with him or fairness. بل كما تشهدون لوليكم فاشهدوا عليه. Rather, to be just, you have to, just as you witness in favor of your friend, you have to be also witness in truth against him. If the truth is with him, you witness for him. If the truth is against your friend, you have to witness against him. This is justice. وَكَمَا تَشْهَدُونَ عَلَى عَدُوِّكُمْ فَاشْهَدُوا لَهُ. And as you testify against your enemy, likewise you have to testify for him. If he has the truth, if he is in the right, you have to testify with the truth, even if it be with him. وَلَوْ كَانَ كَافِرًا أَوْ مُبْتَدِعًا. Even if he be a disbeliever, even if he be an innovator, the extreme example, even if he be an enemy to Allah. But يعني فإنه يجب العدل فيه. It's still obligatory to be just with him, because justice is justice for the truth, and the truth هو يعني الحق وحق ويتبع. The truth is the most priority for us, and everything else falls under the truth. So he said فاشهدوا له ولو كان كافرا أو مبتدعا فإنه يجب العدل فيه وقبول ما يأتي به من الحق. And you must accept whatever he comes with of truth, meaning even if he be a disbeliever and what he said is true, you can't say I reject it just because he's a disbeliever or just because he's an innovator. فإنه يجب العدل نعم لأنه حق لا لأنه قاله. So we accept that statement, we accept that statement from even the enemies of Allah, not because they said it. It's not because they're people of truth. They're people of falsehood. They're enemies to Allah. But the fact that the truth is there and it came on their tongues, we have to accept the truth. Not because they said it, but because it's the truth. Because it's the truth. فَنَنْظُرْ إِلَى الْقَوْلِ لَا نَنْظُرْ إِلَى الْقَائِلِ. We have to look at the statement. Is the statement be just? This Allah saying, do not become too enraged, say this is my enemy, oh I have to reject everything he says, and so on. No, Allah is saying, do not be enraged and be overtaken by your hatred to reject the truth. Okay. وقبول ما يأتي به من الحق لأنه حق لا لأنه قاله ولا يرد الحق لأجل قوله. And he should not, because the other opposite danger is that a person is overtaken by hatred for a person, and then it causes him to reject the truth. This is very dangerous for a person. Rejecting the truth, now this will bring disunity. Now, because instead of being the source of unity, a person becomes the source of disunity, because now he is separated from the truth. The truth is the origin. The truth brings the unity. As soon as a person says, I don't want this truth, then he is bringing disunity. As soon as a person says, oh, this is my enemy, I don't like him, he is from a different group than me, he has a different way than me, and so on, I don't like him, so I can't accept anything he has to say. Now we're rejecting the truth. So this we have to be careful. This is from talbis iblis. This is from the trickery of the shaitan, and this is as Allah has forbidden us to do that in this ayah. And this is, we're reading from Tafsir Sa'di rahimahullah. So here we're saying the important matter, that when it comes to bringing resolution to difference, a person has to leave the baggage at the door. has to be very impartial, very objective in dealing with that issue, and just cannot say, but my group, we have this already belief, and we have this way, and I can't differ with my friends and with my scholars, and this I have to hold to my. Now it becomes issue of hizbiyah, yadam billah. So you have to be careful. Okay, this is a slippery slope. So what we have to do is to look objectively, and if everyone looks objectively and looks purely for the truth, then all eyes will see the truth and the hearts will be united. See, that's the solution. In any difference, it could be a marriage difference, it could be a spousal difference, it could be a family dispute, but everyone leaves the baggage at the door and comes, say, I have come with a clean heart, and I'm looking for the truth, and although I don't like so and so, we're going to sit at the table and we're going to rad, we're going to give and take, and we're going to be objective. And put the situation, bring a cup of tea, bring some snacks, and let's just have a calm, peaceful discussion. And in most cases, Allah will bring resolution. As Allah said, that in the case of the husband and wife, also, Allah said, then if there's a dispute, then bring a person, a representative from his side, and a representative from her side. وَيُرِيدَ إِصْلَاحِ يُوَفِّقِ اللَّهُ بَيْنَهُمَا. Allah said, and if they wish to have resolution, and they wish to have reconciliation, يُرِيدَ إِصْلَاحًا. This is the condition. Allah said, if they want resolution, يُوَفِّقِ اللَّهُ بَيْنَهُمَا, then Allah will bring their hearts together. So the condition must be met at the first get-go. We have to want resolution. We have to want peace. We cannot say, I'm stubbornly holding to my opinion, and we're going to have this sitting, but no matter what I hear, no matter what they say, I am with my opinion, and that's how I'm coming, and that's how I'm leaving. This is opposite to the ayah. Allah said, يُرِيدَ إِصْلَاحًا, if they want resolution. So this attitude must not be there. We have to release the ego and the shaitan coming to prevent the resolution. So everyone must come with a clear mind in any dispute that we have. So this is very important. That brings the unity. Allah promised that. يُرِيدَ إِصْلَاحًا يُوَفِّقِ اللَّهُ بَيْنَهُمَا. If they want resolution, then Allah will bring the resolution. This is a promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ. And if you dispute in anything, return it back to Allah and the Messenger. This is a promise from Allah, because in that is the solution. Allah would not tell us to go back to Allah wa Rasul if there was no solution there. This is vain. Allah munazzah anillahu. Allah is freed and high above saying something with useless intent. No, He said this because there's the solution. And so a person in this way, and when the Shaykh Imam Sa'di rahimahullah, we have to comment that when he said فَاشْهَدُوا لَهُ وَلَوْ كَانَ كَافِرًا أَوْ مُبْتَدِعًا فَإِنَّهُ يَجِبُ الْعَدْلُ فِيهِ وَقَبُولُ مَا يَأْتِي بِهِ مِنَ الْحَقِّ. When he says we have to accept the truth from whoever comes with it, even if it be a disbeliever or innovator, it doesn't mean that we go and seek knowledge from them. It should not be mixed up. As the scholars and as the Salaf had said, we're prohibited to mix and sit with the people of innovation. But the point is that even in this extreme example, if that information comes to you without you seeking it, okay, and it has the light of truth upon it, then we cannot reject it just because it comes from an enemy of Allah. Because our priority is the truth. Okay? And the truth, sometimes Allah will let it appear upon the people of falsehood. It doesn't mean they're people of truth, mind you. We're talking here about the people of innovation, the enemies of Allah, not our brothers and sisters, not our people of the same who are not affected by innovation. We're saying even if the case comes from a person of innovation, we have to accept it. In that extreme example. So what do you think about our brothers and sisters? About those who are the same methodology, all believe the same about Allah, all believe the same about the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They reject revolution. They respect the Sahaba. They have all the foundations of faith united. Aren't we more due to accept from each other and not reject what each other brings of the truth? More so, more so, and to also further evidence that matter, we'll mention something which Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah said regarding upon the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَهَدَى اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لِمَا اخْتَلَفُوا فِيهِ مِنَ الْحَقِّ بِإِذْنِهِ وَاللَّهُ يَهْدِي مَن يَشَاءُ إِلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 213. Allah said, subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah guides those who believe to that which they differ, the difference is occurring in. When there's a difference of opinion, Allah guides who? Those who believe. بِإِذْنِي, by His will. وَاللَّهُ يَهْدِي مَن يَشَاءُ إِلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. And Allah guides who He wills to the straight path. So we're talking about the difference, right? How to bring about resolution and unity in the case of differing. فَفِي دُعَاء النَّبِي صلى الله عليه وسلم, and the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم used to make the dua, especially in the dua istiftah في قيام الليل. He would say, اهدني لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنك إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. He used to make this dua, oh Allah, guide me to that which they differ in. By your permission, indeed you guide who you will to the straight path. Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah, he said, فَمَنْ هَدَاهُ اللَّهُ سُبْحَانَهُ إِلَى الْأَخْذِ بِالْحَقِّ حَيْثُ كَانَ وَمَعَ مَنْ كَانَ وَلَوْ كَانَ مَعَ مَنْ يُبْغِضُ وَيُعَادِيهِ وَرَدَّ الْبَاطِلِ مَعَ مَنْ كَانَ وَلَوْ كَانَ مَعَ مَنْ يُحِبُّهُ وَيُوَالِيهِ فَهُوَ مِمَّنْ هَدَى اللَّهُ لِمَا اخْتُلِفَ فِيهِ مِنَ الْحَقِّ. Ibn al-Qayyim said, whoever Allah guides him to take the truth, wherever it may be, no matter who it may be with. As Imam Sayyidi noticed is saying, وَلَوْ كَانَ مَعَ مَنْ يُبْغِضُهُ وَيُعَادِيهِ, even if that truth is in the possession of the one who hates him and the one he is in disavowal, he can't stand him, but the truth is with him. وَرَدَّ الْبَاطِلِ, so he has to take that truth even if it's one he hates. وَرَدَّ الْبَاطِلِ, and if Allah guides him likewise to reject the truth, reject the falsehood, مَعَ مَنْ كَانَ, no matter who it's with, even if he's with the one he loves and the one he is fond of, meaning the one I love him greatly, he's my friend, he's my compatriot, he's my brother in faith, and so on and so on, and he's my closest buddy, but he is saying falsehood. If Allah guides you to reject that falsehood, although it's coming on the tongue of your friend, فَهُوَ مِمَّنْ هَدَى اللَّهُ, then you are the one who Allah guided. This is guidance. This is what we're here for. We're here for guidance. وَمَن يَهْدِ اللَّهُ فَهُوَ الْمُهْتَدِي فَمَن يُضْلِلْ فَلَن تَجِدَ لَهُ وَلِيًّا. Or كما قال الله تعالى, that the one who Allah guides, He is the guided. And whoever He misguides, then you cannot find any helper for him. So we're here for guidance. We're not here for partisanship or our own opinions. We have to leave that baggage at the door in any dispute. This is the source of resolution and the source of unity, and it's tried and tested. And even furthermore, reported from Mu'adh radiallahu an, and this is authenticated by Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah fi Sahih Abi Dawood, mawqufan. This is a statement of Mu'adh bin Jabal radiallahu anhu, that he used to say, or he said, Naam, about the times of fitan and the times of dispute, what will come. He said, وَوَرَاءَكُمْ فِتَنْ يعني إِنَّ مِنْ وَرَائِكُمْ فِتَنًا يَكْثُرُ فِيهِ الْمَالِ. There's going to become times of fitan, of tests. There's going to be a lot of wealth distributed in these times. a lot of wealth available. يفتح فيها القرآن على حتى يأخذه المؤمن والمنافق والرجل والمرأة والصغير والكبير والعبد والحر. And the Quran will become very widespread and very open to everyone, such that it will be taken and memorized and recited and by all kinds, by the believer, by the hypocrite, by the man, by the woman, by the young, by the old, by the slave, by the free. Meaning all takers will come into the Quran and recite and we hold fast to it, even hypocrites. نعم ويوشك قائل أن يقول ما للناس أن يتبعوني وقد قرأت القرآن. And then what will happen, that some of these people who took the Quran, he will say, people still not following me, although I have the Quran, although I have evidences and I have memorized the Quran and so on, people still not following me. Okay, وقد قرأت القرآن ما هم متبعية حتى أبتدع لهم غيره. They will not follow me unless I innovate something. And if I innovate something, then and only then will they follow me. See the trick of the shaitan. So this is the cause of disunity. When a person thinks, I don't have enough followers, and it's not sufficient for me that I just hold to the truth, because just holding to the truth is not bringing me what I desire. I desire to have more followers. I desire to have more clicks and more likes and more traffic on my website and so on. So I'm going to have to, bring something else, something more spicy, spice it up a little bit so that I'll have some followers. فَإِيَّاكُمْ وَمَا ابْتَدَعَ. So Mu'adh radiallahu anh said, beware of that which he innovates. This person who is not sufficed, he's not happy with just the truth. He wants something more to get what? More followers. فإن ما ابتدأ ما ابتدأه ضلالة وأحذركم زيغة الحكيم. Because indeed that which the person has innovated is misguidance. Then he went on to say, and this is more related to what we were saying earlier, وأحذركم زيغة الحكيم. And I warn you from the misguidance or the mistakes of the wise one. فإن الشيطان قد يقول كلمة الضلال على لسان الحكيم. Because the shaitan sometimes can say a statement of misguidance upon the tongue of a wise person. A person, generally he says good things, but he can slip up, he can make a mistake, like all are prone to do. وقد يقول المنافق كلمة الحق. نعم وقد يقول المنافق كلمة الحق. And indeed the munafiq can say a statement of truth, not because he's a person of truth, but because Allah allows the truth to come on his tongue. Okay, now here's the test for us. This is the test. Are we going to have blind partisanship and attached to the personality, this person who's a wise person, and I'm so fond of him that I become now wali wa wa'adi min ajlihi wa uhibbu wa ubghidu min ajlihi wa atruka huda Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Am I going to be now so attached to this person that is a wise person that I'm going to now love whatever he says and hate whatever he says is wrong? Am I going to love only? Am I only going to make my wala and bara based upon his statements? Whatever he says is true, and whatever he says wrong is not. Whatever he says, whatever he says is true, and whatever he does not say is batil. Now this is a problem. And likewise, Allah is testing us by sometimes He brings the truth upon a person who is not a person of truth. Okay, are we going to reject the truth just because we don't like this person, just because he is this and that? Now we're not. Our scale is no longer what does Allah want us to do and follow the truth. Now our scale is personal feelings and hatred and animosity and this and that, which is not based upon Allah and His truth. So here he said, وَقَدْ يَقُولُ الْمُنَافِقُ كَلِمَةَ الْحَقِّ قَالَ قُلْتُ لِمُعَاذٍ وَمَا يُدْرِينِي رَحِمَكَ اللَّهُ أَنَّ الْحَكِيمَ قَدْ يَقُولُ كَلِمَةَ الضَّلَالَةِ. Then the one who Mu'adh is advising, he said, O Mu'adh, رحمك Allah, how would I know that this hypocrite is saying kalimat al-haq, that this statement is true? that this statement, I'm sorry, how would I know, Afwan, that this wise person has said a statement of falsehood? وَإِنَّ الْمُنَافِقَ قَدْ يَقُولُ كَلِمَةَ الْحَقِّ, and the hypocrite has said a statement of truth. How would I know that? قال بلى اجتنب من كلام الحكيم المشتهرات التي يقال ما هذه ولا يثنينك ذلك عنه. He said, beware, this fulan, of the statement which is odd. Because even a person who's very wise and very knowledgeable, and most of the time he's right, he can say something very odd because he's a human being, and this is the test for us. Okay, this is the test for us, and that doesn't mean just because he said something wrong and he made a mistake and he messed up, it doesn't mean that we have to leave him. No, it doesn't mean that we have to. No, because why? قال ولا يثنينك ذلك عنه فإنه لعله أن يراجع, because perhaps he will come back from that mistakes. Perhaps he will be advised and he will come back, because he's a person, generally a person of the truth, but he made a mistake here. Are we going to follow him in that mistake just because we love him? Now our love is not for Allah. Now our love is based upon individuals and fanaticism. No, in this case we have to say Allah, نقدم هدى الله على هوى النفس. We have to give priority to Allah and His guidance over التعصب المذموم or التقليد الأعمى. We're not about blind following. This is the dead meat. No, if you want the truth and you want real resolution, you have to stay away from blind fanaticism and look only to the truth and overlook this personality and this fame. I want to be this group, I want to be this follower of this imam and that imam. This will never bring a resolution. Then there will always be, there's so many different groups. So we have to, go back and say the truth is, yes, that the person, he may make a mistake. وَلَعَلَّهُ أَنْ يُرَاجِعْ, and perhaps he will return from that mistake. Okay, as if he's a person of truth, eventually he'll probably return from that mistake, or he may not if it never becomes clear to him. وَتَلَقَّى نعم وَتَلَقَّى الْحَقَّ إِذَا سِمِعْتَهُ فَإِنَّ عَلَى الْحَقِّ نُورًا. And even if the other aspect, if the truth comes from a person who is not a person of truth, we cannot just based on that reject that truth. How would I know? He said, how would they answer to answer his question? How would I know it's the truth? He said, فَإِنَّ عَلَى الْحَقِّ نُورًا. The truth has a light. What is the light? أَنَّهُ يُوَافِقُ الْقُرْآنَ وَالسُّنَّةِ. This is the light. This is the light by which we see that this statement is true, even if it comes on the tongue of our enemy. يُوَافِقُ الْقُرْآنَ وَالسُّنَّةِ, that it agrees with the Quran and Sunnah. And this is as we began with this talk with, وَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ. And if you differ in anything, even if it be with your enemy, the one you hate, the enemy of Allah, فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ إِن كُنتُمْ تُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ وَأَحْسَنُ تَأْوِيلًا وَاللَّهُ تَعَالَى عَالَمٌ. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring the hearts together. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show us the light. Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'a wa arina al-batila batilan warzuqna ijtinaba. Allahumma jannibna al-fitan ma dhahara minha ma batan. Allahumma alif bayna qulubina. Allahumma ja'alna ikhwanan muhtadin, hudatan muhtadin, غير ضالين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we ask Him to make us those who are guided and sources of guidance, and not those who are people of misguidance or sources of misguidance. And we thank the brothers who made this event possible, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward them greatly and to bless them in their wealth, in their families, and in their time, and to grant them more beneficial knowledge and righteous action. ما قلت من صواب فهو من الله وما قلت من خطأ فمن نفسي ومن الشيطان والله تعالى منه بريء. And whatever I said of right was from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and whatever I said of mistake or error was from me and from the curse of shaitan. Wallah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from that. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.